Hello to everyone. How are you today? Thursday morning again with another episode of the Hot Fire Flame I'll Call You Right Back podcast, hosted by me, yours truly. First off, I just wanted to plug this book that I'm reading right now. Okay, so there is an author named Peter Stenson who wrote a book called Fiend in 2013. I can't remember if I talked about it on here or not, but it's a zombie book where all the survivors of the zombie apocalypse are crystal meth addicts. There's something in the crystal meth that keeps them alive, so it's a weird, wild take on zombie survival. But this is his second book, okay, and this is a book called 37. And I got this a couple months ago, but I've been pretty busy, so I haven't been able to read it yet. But I took it with me to Colorado, and I read it on my way back from Colorado, and I read 200 plus pages out of like 260, so I have about 60 left, but this book is unreal so far. It's just so bizarre and like such a weird new way, I don't know, just a completely... not anything that I was expecting, but the book is called 37 by Peter Stenson, and I would highly suggest reading it because it's wild. And his other book is called Fiend. I would also suggest that one. But as I said, I read this on my way back from Colorado. Me and my wife went to Colorado as part of a honeymoon gift, and it was unreal. That's pretty much all you could say about it. It was unreal. We had so we flew into Denver Friday night, and we got to see a comedian that is pretty famous. His name's Bobby Lee. He was on Mad TV. He was on all kinds of shit. He has a podcast called Tiger Belly. He's just a hilarious guy, and he had a hilarious opener, Will Burkhart. I mentioned him in the podcast too. But we went to the Denver Comedy Works, and I listened to a lot of people like Joe Rogan, Tom Segura, Bert Kreischer, and all these comedians that I listen to always talk about the Denver Comedy Works and how it's such an incredible club. And it was. I figured we flew into Denver. We got there around 11 a.m., and me and my wife, Antoinette, pretty much just went around and took in some of the sights and got to eat some good food and got to experience Denver a little bit. But Friday night we drove down to downtown and went to go see a comedy show, and it was awesome. So we walked in, and the girl was like, do you guys mind being up close? And I was like, no, I mean, fuck it, why not, right? I'm not really worried about it. So she puts us literally front row, right in front of the stage, and it was just insane. Bobby Lee was just a very, very intense, hilarious person. He got almost butt-ass naked. I definitely seen his dick. I don't know. It was just a very, very wild day, and I enjoyed it. But Denver was just fucking awesome. It almost has like a Lawrenceville feel. That's where I was, kind of. A lot of good food. Too many good things to plug. After Denver, we woke up, drove to Idaho Springs, which you'll hear a little bit about in this podcast. I talk about going on the Argo Mill tour and some of the other shops, but me and my wife just wanted to go to Denver for years now, and we finally did, and it was everything we could have ever wanted, just driving through the mountains, experiencing all the different little towns. So yeah, we rented a cabin up in the mountain, and it was just this cabin 4.5 miles up this mountain, and it was just so insane. And which brings me to my next guest, which brings me to my next point, which is my next guest, and his name is Justin Criado. Justin Criado has been one of my friends since around 9th grade, and he moved to Colorado a year and a half ago. He lives in Telluride. Telluride is 6 hours south of Denver, and it is a small town. You'll hear him talk about it a little bit, but he ended up meeting up with me. Him and his sister were somewhere in the area, and we were able to link up, and he was able to stay with us for a night, and we just got to hang out and talk. And in that time, I got to sit him down and record a podcast. And Justin is such a interesting dude. He officiated my wedding, so he's someone that's definitely close to me, and we've been friends forever. We have a lot of similarities. My wife loves him. Everyone loves him. He's a good dude. Very, very interesting, though. Amateur move with my phone on while I'm trying to record an intro, but fuck it, I'm going to leave it in here because this is my podcast. Anyway, we talk about so much shit. Justin is an editor of the Telluride newspaper, and he lives in a town of 2,000 at peak time, but besides on the off season, it's only around 1,000, so it's pretty desolate. That might sound like a lot, but it's really not. He doesn't have cable or internet, so I mean, he's a super interesting dude. This conversation is definitely special for me because it's the first one I've done out of state. It's the highest altitude I've ever recorded at, and it was just awesome. We did this outside at this little fire pit that was on the back porch of this cabin, and you'll hear some of the ambient noises that will poke in and out, but this is exactly what I wanted to do this podcast for. I just love the rawness of all of it. I just want to talk to people and see what makes them tick. You know what I mean? But I hope you enjoy this podcast. It's super interesting. Again, my guest is Justin Criado, and he has a lot of cool shit to talk about. So I now present to you episode number 15 of I'll Call You Right Back podcast with Justin Criado.
Telephone.
Hello?
Telephone.
I'll call you right back. Call you right back.
Telephone.
I'll Call You Right Back podcast. What was the elevation that it said we were at? No?
I'm not sure. We have to be like 7-ish. Let's look that up.
It's definitely, you could feel it being harder to breathe.
Yeah.
Like just running up the steps?
Yep. Just simply being a human being.
Yeah, just breathing. It's just, you could feel it
Yeah.
a little bit less oxygen in the mountains. But we are in the mountains.
The Rocky Mountains.
What's this called? Did you say that you looked it up? Blue Mountain?
We're in Blue Valley.
Blue Valley?
We're in the Blue Valley in the Rocky Mountains in Idaho Springs.
Yeah, right outside of
Colorado.
Idaho Springs.
Mm-hmm.
And we're in we're in this cabin that me and Antoinette rented, and then you two traveled over and came and visited.
Been hanging out.
Yeah, just living the dream. So what's in the cup?
What's in the cup? It's called Spellbound. It's a California Merlot.
A California Merlot.
I'm getting real into red wine lately.
You said you've been on a wine kick?
I have been because I used to drink a lot of beer and I didn't like the way it made me all bloated and fat. So like to cut some cows, I switched to wine.
Yeah.
It's like a $12 bottle of wine.
Yeah, very high class, top shelf.
Yeah, maybe mid-shelf.
Mid-shelf?
Right above the Vlad.
So, introduce yourself.
My name is Justin Criado. I'm 27.
Mm-hmm.
I live in Telluride, Colorado now, and I'm the editor of the newspaper there.
In Telluride.
It's called the Telluride Daily Planet.
There you go. Plug it up.
Yep.
So,
well, Superman works there.
So, what are you and I? We have been friends for.
I was in 9th grade.
Yeah. So a long time.
It was my freshman year. Yeah.
Long time. We both played football under the great alma mater Elizabeth Forward.
Yeah. Go Warriors.
Yeah. Go Warriors. We my senior year we didn't win a game, not a single game. But yeah. So this is our first This is my first podcast outdoors. We're sitting on the back deck of this awesome cabin, and Idaho Springs is about an hour away from Denver.
Yeah.
And me and Antoinette came out here as like part of our like honeymoon. Her sister Marissa got us a gift, plane tickets to anywhere we wanted to go, and Antoinette allowed me and her to use those tickets to come to Colorado. That's where we wanted to come for a long time, and now we finally did. So we flew in to Denver on Friday and then hung out there, went to a comedy show. We saw Bobby Lee perform, and that was hilarious. You ever been to the Comedy Works in Denver?
I haven't. I've been to a couple of the theaters, but they were for concerts. But no, I haven't been to the Comedy Works.
Do you like Denver?
Yeah, I like Denver, but that's a big city, man.
It is, but it doesn't seem as crazy as Pittsburgh was.
No, there's no tunnels and bridges.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit. It seems a little bit slower.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it. The Comedy Works though was awesome. It's supposed to be like this prestigious club, like so many comedians talk about it, and supposedly Denver's like a huge comedy city. And I figured, I mean, fuck it, if we're gonna be out here on a Friday, I'll see who was playing, because I mean we were staying right in Denver. She got us a hotel room, so we came in and we got some food and then went to go see this comedian Bobby Lee, who was on Mad TV. He was on he has a podcast called Tiger Belly. He's on all kinds of shit. And then there's an opener. Let me look up at his name real quick, because he was fucking hilarious, and I really think everyone should look him up. But the whole show was awesome. The venue was sick. It's like you go in, it's right in almost, if you would think of like a South Side, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And it has you just walk in this building and you go downstairs, and the venue is downstairs. I don't know how many people it holds, but it's like a smaller, packed in club, which was definitely it was a cool feel. Like, I definitely liked it. That comedian though who opened up for Bobby Lee, his name is Will Burkhart, and he was fucking hilarious. But I enjoyed the Comedy Works. I thought it was a cool experience. We got to sit front row, and Bobby Lee came out and he was like saying hello to people and gave me a hug. It was pretty interesting.
Nice.
But yeah, Denver is a fun place, like, so far.
Yeah, man. I have no complaints. But you didn't you do some stand up recently? At the Improv?
I did do stand up at the Improv.
How'd that go?
It went real well. I went
Nice,
to
man.
There was a competition with 32 people, and I made it to the top 4. And then,
Well, hell, that's like 8%.
yeah, I didn't win, but fuck it, it was my first time. I enjoyed it
Fuck
though.
it. Yeah.
It was.
You
a
gonna
real
do
fun-
it again, like,
Yeah,
for
I'm
like an
gonna keep
open
doing-
mic
Yeah,
night?
I'm gonna definitely keep doing it. I just after that competition, I was like, fuck it, I'll do it after vacation, because it was like a
Yeah.
month-long thing. It was every week for a month, so I just wanted to write some new shit before I went out and did more. Kind of
Get some new
sharpen up all the
material.
stuff that I had.
Come out to the mountains of Colorado to get inspired.
Yeah, real Jack Torrance like.
I was just gonna say Jack Torrance
Yeah.
style. You got your little typewriter with you.
So yeah, I just carried it around with me. So anyway, we grew up in Elizabeth, all the way across the United States, in Pennsylvania,
On the Monument.
and you live out here now.
Yes. Yeah, Telluride's a town of 2,000. So, and I live in town, so I get to walk everywhere and just simplify things.
Now,
guess.
what brought you out here?
I was looking, the journalism newspaper world, I guess, in Pittsburgh wasn't doing too hot in like 2016, like end of 2016. And I was like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to have to move. And I always kind of wanted to move out of the area because I just, cabin fever or whatnot.
Yeah.
So I looked at jobs in Michigan, Washington State, and Yotes.
Yeah,
and
we're
Telluride.
outside, and those are the ambient noises that we have.
Yeah, pack of wild dogs.
Uh,
But yeah, then I applied to those three places, and I just Googled them, and Telluride looked cool because I always said kind of like as a joke, like, yeah, I'm just gonna go live in the mountains.
yeah, I mean,
And then it's literally in the like Rocky Mountains. It's in a box canyon.
I fucking love it out here. It's everything we've experienced so far is awesome.
It's definitely a different vibe and different culture out here.
Yeah.
from like the East Coast. Like there's definitely like a different feel.
So you're an
More
editor.
laid back, yeah.
You're
Yes.
an editor of this whole newspaper. How does someone get into that? Like, how did you get into writing and shit whenever you were younger?
Well, I always did well in like English,
Yeah.
like reading classes, like the arts.
Yeah.
But I was a meathead, and I wanted to play football. So I was like, I'm going to go to college to play football. And then it was like, well, you have to study something to go to college. You can't just go and play sports.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? So I was like, whatever, I'll just do journalism because I'm good at writing.
Yeah.
And then where I ended up going, Robert Morris University, didn't have a specific journalism program. It was under the communications umbrella, the typical like college athlete major. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And I just took more journalism classes than comm classes. And then I ended up interning. I was like sophomore year, so I was like 19. And I ended up quitting football right before my junior season. And I just started working in newspapers as like freelance, like the Tribune Review. Like I would work night shifts, like covering like their high school sports desk and like taking scores and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then it just went from there. And I've just been lucky enough to like get gigs. And then I was in like Monessen, PA at this new paper before I left. And I was like, fuck this.
Yeah.
I was like, get the fuck out of here, man.
Yeah. It's like, why not?
Well, they started like downsizing, and I was like, you know, this isn't gonna like I got to stay on, but I was like, this isn't gonna last longer. So I like just started applying to stuff, and I was like surprised when I got such a response or whatever. I was surprised that they replied to the application
to all your applications.
like when I like being that I was so far out from these places, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I would have
because
to
like you're all the
relocate.
way across.
They're probably like, yeah, I'm not going to deal with it. But yeah, it all worked out, I guess. So that was like October 2016 is when I moved to Telluride. I took a week driving across the country.
Now, were you looking, like you were actively looking to relocate?
Yeah. Yeah, and I was trying to just like go into the woods basically.
Yeah.
So I was looking at like the Upper Peninsula and this like little island, San Juan Island off of the state of Washington, and then Telluride was in the Rocky Mountains. So I was just like seclusion, simple things, like simplify, you know, like Amish. I was thinking about turning Amish, but
Amish.
But if you're Amish, you can't have bagel bites. So I said no.
Can't use a microwave to cook anything.
So hold them under your armpit real long to cook them.
Yeah, to just put them in the sunlight all day, wait for a hot day.
Leave them out on a log. I'm like, shit, the coyotes got them again.
Telluride, that you said 2,000 people live there.
2,000 people in the area. So Telluride is like right up against Mountain Village, and it's like Mountain Village, Telluride combined is like 2,000. And that's like during the busy ski season when everyone stays in town or people are coming to the area.
Yeah.
For like those months to ski, but like it's off season right now. Like the resort just closed
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago, and like there's probably maybe 1,000 people in the area, if not less. It's like a ghost town.
That's wild.
Yeah, like everyone just leaves.
Whenever you were looking to relocate, did you know about Telluride before you?
Nah.
Yeah, you just like said fuck it, and you were.
I just like, and Telluride, I guess, is well known for the skiing, but I was never into skiing.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, this like little no-name town in Colorado will be good.
Yeah, fuck it, right?
You know?
Roll the dice.
Yeah, and like I never even been to Colorado, and I just like Googled it, and I was like, looks legit.
Yeah, it looks enough. It looks all right enough.
Like, guess I'll
I mean, you didn't have a fucking like anything to tie you down. Like, why not? Just
that's what I mean. It was like if I'm making a move, I need to do it soon, or I was gonna just like probably hang around and get like shitty jobs around.
yeah, and just get stuck there, stuck in a rut.
Yeah, that's what I was like. The time is now.
What did your parents think whenever you told them that you were moving across country?
Like, my dad was real happy for me.
Yeah,
like, he knows.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
He'll be all right.
Yeah,
but like typical
the moms
like he'll be all right. Like, get him the hell out of here. He's almost off our insurance anyway. You know what I mean? And then my mom's like, oh my god, how are you going to do your laundry?
I know.
There's no laundry on
I
site.
know.
I'm like, a laundromat.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, call us when you get there.
Yeah.
You know, like every 5 minutes. But, you know, typical
Mom
stuff. But
things
they
like,
just-
how are you going to function in life? Like, what if you get hurt? You're
where are you
like,
going to get your groceries?
Yeah. It's like, I'll figure it out.
I'm like, this isn't Antarctica.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't Serbia.
Yeah.
Like, it's like,
I'll
they have
figure it out.
functioning people there.
Yeah, there's other people that live there.
Like, we didn't just. I'm not going to explore the Louisiana Purchase, and we don't
Yeah.
know what's out there. But yeah,
So what?
Google's a powerful tool. Yeah,
Jesus.
You hear me? Oh, that's a big ass raven.
Wow,
That was a big bird.
that's
Big
sick.
raptor.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
like I was saying,
that's my spirit animal.
yeah, your spirit animal. That's fucking insane. But I really want to. Me and Justin were gonna do this podcast last night after we cooked dinner, but I was like, man, I just want to do it outside in the woods. We're literally this cabin is it's 4.5 miles. Literally up this mountain. It was
dirt
so insane coming up here. It was like you turn up this fucking dirt road, and I was like, Jesus, like it literally looked like a fucking like little dirt path. And luckily we had an SUV, because it said you need one to get up here. But we turned up this dirt road, and then it said we still had 20 minutes a drive, and I was like, Jesus, like where the
5 miles?
yeah, like where the fuck are we going? And it's just like all these switchbacks, like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then like we get up here, and I'm like, there ain't no one up here. We're gonna get fucking murdered. And then we get up here, and there's like a bunch of cabins up here. There's a bunch of people that's established up here. But we're like, I think 20 minutes outside of Idaho Springs.
Yeah, out of like town proper.
Yeah, and Idaho Springs was it was like the gold mine in town. Oh yeah,
Talk about
yeah.
it,
So
man.
last night I was so
You're a
pumped.
prospector now.
Last night I was so pumped because there's this place called the Argo gold mine, and the Argo gold mine was like ahead of its time back in the day. It started in like 1890, I think, and back then, whenever people were mining for gold, they were the mill that was extracting the gold from all the mined ore and rocks and all this shit. So back then, in the early 1900s, these motherfuckers were 95% efficient with extracting gold from other minerals. 95% back then, 100 years ago. And then today, the lady was telling us that the best technology now for getting gold is only 98% accurate. So it's like 3% more in 100 years. Like back then, these motherfuckers were killing it. It's like, and the lady said that they made $3 a day, which back then, like you could buy like a big ass house and a lot of land for $3 a day back then. But a few years after the shit closed, this big tunnel burst and like 1,000 foot deep of water filled up, and I don't know, it was fucking insane. But we got to tour this mine, and I was panning for gold. They give you like this little pan, and you get to go over and pan for gold. And I got these little Goldschlager flakes. Like that's what you get. They're like, oh, okay. So there's like
In a bag of water.
Yeah.
Like a goldfish.
Yeah, it's like they give you this little like Ziploc. It looks like a drug bag, and they give you this little bag. They're like, fill it up with water, touch the gold flake to your finger, touch it in the water, and you get to take them home. it's fucking funny. But I got these little gold flakes after this tour. But
You're gonna make an earring, right? Or no, gold tooth.
yeah, gold tooth like Joe Pesci from Home Alone. But so how many years have you been living out here?
Like a year and a half.
Year and a half. And is
Yeah,
it everything you could
I'm
have
in my
want?
second year.
Is it everything you could ever want?
Yeah, I mean, I want a lot of stuff, I guess, but yeah, I'm happy with it. I'm definitely happy where I'm at.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have cable or internet.
Yeah, so you read a lot, you said. Last night we were talking about, I asked you, like, what you do for fun.
Yeah, I read books, like physical books.
How many books did you read last year?
It was between 50 and 60.
Yeah, like, that's insane.
I averaged, like, I think, like one every week and a half.
Yeah, like, that's, and, like, these are actual, like, substantial books.
Yeah, I think I read one graphic novel.
Yeah.
That took me about 10 minutes. This is the Dan Auerbach one, the murder ballads that he put out.
Yeah.
With Robert Finley. That was cool. But, yeah, they're like
Well, how do you
300
choose?
plus words.
How do you choose what to read? Like, is it anything? Like, are you just a fan of everything?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to read something that's reads like a textbook. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
real
yeah.
dry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I read a lot of fiction. But I still like a lot of like historical nonfiction or like autobiographies, biographies.
Yeah. What's some of your favorite? Like, what are some of your favorite books that you've read?
I'm a huge Kurt Vonnegut fan.
Oh yeah.
So like Bluebeard and like Cat's Cradle and Welcome to the Monkey House.
Yeah. Never read any of them.
Like he was like a 1950s into 60s. I mean, he wrote forever, but when he like became popular, he was like a sci-fi writer.
Yeah.
He was just like writing for like random magazines.
So
He was like putting out paperbacks for like a nickel.
and you said this was the 50s? He was around
Yeah.
50s, 60s?
Yeah,
That's wild.
but I've been to the Kurt Vonnegut Museum in like Indianapolis, where he's from, and they have like a setup of like his desk and like his laptop and like his writing room, and you could like sit down and like type on it. And I was like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
But
It's
yeah,
definitely
Kurt Vonnegut. You know, I like a lot of Thomas Ligotti is probably one of my favorites. His book, The Conspiracy Against the Human Race, was the basis of True Detective,
Oh, really?
of the second one, yeah.
Oh, I didn't watch the second one.
And everyone was like, there was like people were like, that's Thomas Ligotti, like it's not whoever produced.
Yeah.
So that like kind of brought him like some fame, but other than that, he's just like this little known like weirdo writer
Yeah.
in like Detroit. But he's been writing forever too.
Back in the day in high school and middle school, were you a kid that read all the books?
No, which is ironic. Like we got like The Hobbit.
Yeah, The Hobbit.
Like read 2 chapters
Watership
tonight.
Down.
I'd be like Cliff Notes.
Yeah, exactly.
Cliff Notes. They
Yeah.
even have those Spark Notes
Yeah,
and Cliff Notes.
and
anymore.
copying off people. I
Yeah.
copied off people for all of our because like
They're just like bullshitting.
they gave you like a whole 3-ring binder of like questions that you can only find the answer to if you read the chapters.
Like real fucking specific.
Yeah, real specific shit. So honestly, you know, I want to read Watership Down again. That book was fucking insane. It was a book about like a colony of rabbits, and like it was like a political like democracy type
Like an Animal Farm.
yeah, Animal Farm. It was super wild, but I'd like to read that again. I remember they showed us the animated movie, and it was so fucked up.
Dude, I don't. Whose class were you in? I don't.
Miss Krosky.
No. Did I had,
Never had her?
No, I had like Sarber, Hibner, Tomko,
Who knows?
and
Fuck
Call.
it. Fuck it. Mr. Call was a wild one.
I liked him.
He was our English teacher in what was he, our senior English teacher?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was this dude had like a tick almost. He was just like very, very on edge, and like he almost reminds you of Christopher or Crispin Glover from Charlie's Angels. You know, the creep
Yeah.
that like grabs the hair and like
Yeah.
smells
Yeah.
it. That dude always reminded me of Mr. Call. But like supposedly
He
one
grabbed my
time-
hair once. Yeah.
Supposedly one time he grabbed someone's cell phone and threw it off of a wall
Yeah, and
because they were
smashed it.
texting in class, which
Yeah.
was pretty wild. Who knows if that's true or not? That is ironic though. Why do you think you didn't read? You were you not into
I
reading?
really
back
wasn't
then?
into it as much. Like I was saying, I was just like all about like football. Like I gotta lift weights today.
So like
I
back in
can't read.
back in
for
the day,
school.
whenever like we were super young, like middle school and shit. I remember your room. You had it was like a sports memorabilia shrine.
Yeah, collected a lot of sports memorabilia.
Yeah, that was your childhood. Was like sports and shit.
Sports. Yeah, I would read like if I read, it would be like sports books.
Yeah,
It'd be like the story of the Steelers. Or
Yeah.
something like
Something real.
like becoming Yinzer.
Yeah, real yinzer shit. Like your dad, like my son's gonna fucking play football.
Yeah. Like, you ain't gonna read no books.
I really miss football. I think about it all the time.
I miss high school football a lot.
Yeah, high school football. I didn't play collegiate football. I was just like, fuck that.
It becomes like a job.
Yeah, a job, and they wanted to pay me. They wanted to pay for room and board at Waynesburg, and I was like, this fucking campus sucks. Remember
Waynesburg?
when we
Yeah.
visited that?
Yeah, we did go on that visit
Yeah,
together.
yeah, because like that one guy contacted me and he was like, we'll pay for your room and board if you come play football with us. And I was like, this fucking place, I hate this campus. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't want to fucking go to school on a fucking hill. And then like while I'm on this school hill, it's just everything is on one big hill. I didn't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
I don't drink, so like I wasn't going to any fucking bars. And I was like, if I'm gonna fucking play football, if I'm gonna be in school and have to like dedicate my whole life to football for college, I ain't gonna do it in a place that I
Not here.
fucking hate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
And like we played football, we played football our whole lives.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know. It was just, I kind of fell out of love with it my senior year. We didn't win a game, and
was
like
tough.
people just like, it felt like people didn't care as much. You know what I mean? I don't know.
We were definitely the butt of jokes.
Yeah, it was discouraging.
The band was better than us.
Oh yeah, like
they would
Thomas
win
Jefferson.
awards.
Yeah, we were the worst team that ever came out of Elizabeth Forward that year. Like baseball, wrestling, everything else was better than us. But we got shit on by everyone.
Well, the funny thing was, it was like we were 0-9, and
Yeah.
the playoffs were starting. Like, obviously, we weren't going to the playoffs, so we scheduled a toilet bowl game with 0-8 or 0-9 Moon.
Yeah.
And they just dick smacked us.
Ugh.
So we finished 0-10,
Yeah, that's-
losing to another.
That was just. Then I was a captain of the football team, so I was like,
So it was your fault.
yeah, I was like,
No.
real good job, real good job. Then you got Coach D, just always just like after every game, I'm sitting there just fucking discouraged, crying and shit. And he's like, you can't do nothing else more than you have, man. Like it's just like I don't know. It was just it was discouraging
was a good
time.
dude.
Yeah, like that dude was he was an epic guy. So
Yeah.
back in the day, whenever you were younger, you said you were into sports, and then like what else? What other kind of shit were you into?
I was like real into. I was real into like motorcycles and like
Yeah.
ATVs and cars because my dad was into that and he had like his Harley and stuff. And
Yeah.
then I started getting like real into music.
Yeah, you were always someone I knew that like you played guitar,
Mm-hmm.
fucking always had good music playing, and like my dad was also very similar, like built cars and shit like that.
Yeah.
And he's just
MacGyver.
Yeah, MacGyver type, and it's like you kind of rubs off on you a little bit, but
Yeah.
he always luckily our parents weren't fucking losers and had us good taste in music. They had
Yeah.
it beat into our brain.
Yeah, I remember my dad having the Nirvana Nevermind when it like first came out, and
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, I was probably like 6 at that time.
Yeah.
Like super fucking young. And like I remember on the inside cover it was a CD, and when it had the naked baby on
Yeah.
front.
Yep.
And when you opened it up, it was like the band looking all like brutish, like standing up against a wall, like with their heads to the side. And like,
Angst.
I think Kurt Cobain was like giving the middle finger, and I was like, "This is dangerous."
Yeah, this is shouldn't be listening.
He
to
shouldn't
this.
have his middle finger up.
How old's
And
your dad?
He's 50. He's gonna be 56.
Yeah, like he's pretty much like my dad's
Yeah,
like 5
cla-
years older.
Yeah, and like all the classic rock.
Yeah.
Like he gave me Led Zeppelin 4
Yeah.
on CD,
Yeah.
and he gave me Dark Side of the Moon. Like, the staples.
My first experience of the music was my dad would always take me to flea markets and shit. Like we would go all the time, and he would always buy CDs from there. And my favorite shit back in the day that he introduced me to was like Stevie Ray Vaughan, Texas Flood.
Oh yeah.
And like I just remember always listening to that, and also like I remember Bon Jovi, Dead or Alive. Like that was my shit back in the day.
Like, this is hard.
Yeah, it's like my dad was an OG. He had a system in like this gangster ass truck, and
Really?
we would just this GMC Jimmy. It was like a Bronco almost, and we would just fucking listen to shit in there. It was I definitely remember that though. That was a big part of childhood, was like flea markets and stuff.
Yeah. Flea markets.
Yeah, Periopolis and everything.
What's the one that's like Eastland?
Yeah, Eastland.
It like fell into the earth. It's
Yes,
like a
and
parking lot now.
yeah, now they Eastland was like this old shopping mall that they turned into like this real raggedy ass flea
Some
market.
shanty town.
It's almost like a Trader Jack's, where it's like I don't know. It's just it's a shanty town.
It's
It's,
a
like
shanty
a
town of a flea
gypsy town.
market.
You go in and there's just people with mountains of like old shitty toys. They're just like anything in here is a quarter, and it's
Yeah.
just like ooh, like there's stains
Like
on
you're just
everything.
pilfering your garbage onto me.
Yeah, you just feel
paying for
dirty.
this.
Yeah, but people want it.
Yeah. There's a market for it.
There's a market for it. High school though was an interesting time with football and everything.
Yeah.
It was that was pretty much our whole life. We still I don't know.
Jamonville.
Yeah, like
I only got to go to Jamonville 1 year.
yeah.
And we got, Cathell came in, but I was glad we got
Jamonville
we got
was
to
this
go to
Christian
Jamonville
camp.
and just like basically Lord of the Flies it and
Yeah.
just like beat each other with
Yeah.
soap in a
It-
sock.
it was
box. We're like testosterone. It's not a female.
So-
it's 70 miles, and we're just beating the fuck out of each other.
So whenever I was I was a junior. You were a sophomore,
yeah.
and then there were seniors. Jamonville was this Christian football camp, and like we had this coach Pete Rostowski, and he played for the Steelers. He was a DN, right?
He was an offensive lineman.
Offensive lineman?
Yeah, he was like a guard or something.
So offensive lineman, but this dude was literally a nut. He got shot in the head one time.
Survived.
Yeah, and survived. He is crazy. We would like lights out at Jamonville would be like 9:30 or something like that, and he wouldn't let anyone listen to electronics. I remember this like it was fucking yesterday. So like we're all sitting there sleeping, and it's like fucking 3:30 in the morning, and we just hear these weight plates like slamming on the ground. And I fucking, like, we all wake up and like, what the fuck is that? And we look outside, and it's like 4 a.m, and Coach Pete is like deadlifting at like 4 a.m, the like crazy amount of weight. The dude was just very intense. He was the most intense football coach I've ever had.
I was like I appreciate Coach Pete now.
Yeah, now. But
when
back
I was
then, it
like
was the
15, I was like pissing my pants.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy will kill me if I don't do something.
His whole thing was
that's the
you'll
impression
pass
that you got,
out.
but he wasn't like that. But like
his whole thing was you'll pass out before you die. So
sleep
keep
when
going.
You're dead.
Do you remember whenever we were doing the 100 club and I was doing them deadlifts and he came in and he was like, "Oh, your form looks good." He turned the lights off and he was like, "Keep going." And like I was just in there and like I fucking did 100 deadlifts and that was like fucked up. Like the dude was fucked up kind of. But like you said, like now I appreciate it. It's like hiking. No one wants to fucking go on a hike while they're on the hike. It's like we were just talking about this because we're in Colorado. The altitude is all crazy. And we're talking about going on this little hike. And Justin was talking about this hike that they did and how they almost died because like the altitude is such a crazy factor.
It was Mount Albert in Twin Lakes, Colorado, right outside of Aspen, and it's the highest point on the continental U.S.
Yeah,
it's
like
14,442 feet above sea level, and like when you get like to like 11 or 12, like you're just dead.
Yeah, you just can't breathe.
You get above tree line and you're exposed, and you don't want to get caught in like an afternoon thunderstorm and get killed by lightning, and then you're like worrying about animals and like mountain lions, and you got like hiking sticks. You're like, I'm just gonna have to use this as a spear.
Yeah.
And then we ran, and then
jam it in their head.
Carly and I did it. Carly, my sister, and we like ran out of all of like liquid, like Gatorade and water, with like 2 miles left, and we were just like done.
Yeah, we're sitting there talking about how like people go and they like plan to go on these crazy hikes, and you're like, oh yeah, like let's plan to go on this hike. You only get to carry a backpack, you get 2 pair of clothes, you get to have like dry fucking freeze dried food, and then like you get to shit in the woods and wipe your ass sparingly with toilet paper, and you have to clean it up after. Yeah. And like people were like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. And then while you're doing
like
it,
a good post.
Yes. We need it for the likes. Do it for the gram.
Yeah.
And it's like,
but that one angle there that you have to hike to is a good shot.
Yeah, it's like, got to do 12 hours, but the post will be good enough. But it's just like, you got to take it if you're going to fucking do it. No one wants to go on a hike, though, at that said time. It's like, as soon as it starts, you're like, I just want this to fucking be over. I'm going to die.
Like, I'd rather die, like, just drop dead.
Yeah, then finish this.
Like, I always think of, like, the worst case scenario. That's probably like a product of my dad. He's like a prepper.
Yeah.
Like, well, what are you gonna do if this happens? And I'm always like, I'm gonna get my throat eaten out by a mountain lion.
Yeah, by
or like a bear's gonna eat me ass first.
Yeah.
You know, like,
a wolf get taken by some yotes.
I had a run in with a yote. It was very cordial, friendly run in with a yote like last week. It was Wednesday night, and they're obviously around the area in Telluride, but you don't see them. They don't want to be seen. You could hear them, though, yipping. And I was leaving work, and it was, like, a little dark, and I'm walking on the sidewalk back home, and I hear this click-clacking, and, like, I can't see, and it comes into the street light. And I was like, oh, that's a dog off leash. And I'm, like, waiting for the owner to, like, follow it, and then I'm like, oh, it's a lost dog off leash. And I got closer, and I like, stopped. I was like, we were, like, within 10 feet. I was like... that's a fucking coyote. And, like, it was calm as fuck. It was using the sidewalk, like, real civilized and all. And I wasn't, like, I didn't, like, get too tensed up. And I walked past it. and it saw me, and it like went out into the roadway, and it passed me, and we like made eye contact, and I like nodded, tipped my hat, and then it got back on the sidewalk after it passed me and just continued into town. It was the wildest thing.
Yeah,
I'd never seen a coyote in town, but
it's kind of bizarre. What's your living arrangement like?
I got like a studio.
No, I mean like around your house though. Is it like a lot of woods?
Yeah. You could literally walk to the end of the road and it just turns into a trail, and you could go and on a hike.
Jesus,
like you could literally just walk to a trail off town.
that's pretty wild.
Yeah, and like people, I mean, skiing's big. You could like ski down into town
To the bar.
basically.
But there's like a little town in there. You said.
Yeah, yeah. It's developed, but I think it's like 1.3 miles big.
Yeah.
Something
What do you
long.
do for fun in a place like that? Go to the library.
Yeah. I do go to the library.
Yeah.
I have a library card, and I rent DVDs that are like 5 years old.
Yeah.
That are just getting out here.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, did you see Braveheart recently? That's a friggin' hell of a movie. I hope that wins some awards. Shape of what? Shape of what one? No, Braveheart. It's like kind of like that.
They just got in.
Kind of like out of touch. Like that's part of like ignorance is bliss, I guess. But yeah, I go to the library and I watch them on my my original MacBook that I still have.
Yeah, with the disk drive. Now they don't have any disk drives anymore.
You're like technology, high tech as fuck.
Yeah,
It
now
was like the Razor phone.
yeah, the Razor phone. We were talking about that last night. We were talking about old cell phones like the V, the NV, the Razor phones.
Chocolate.
Yeah, we were talking about parents and like parents using technology, and because I asked Justin if like his mom and dad text, because like my dad doesn't. He'll text a little bit, and whenever he does text, it's like super hip text. Like he'll be like cool, like KOOL with like sunglasses.
Like that AIM text.
Yeah, and it's like my mom will text and she'll type, and if there's anything extra in there, it just stays in there for some extra seasoning. So if she's trying to write like walk and it's WDAFLKC, you got to figure it out and say that it says, and figure out it says walk. It's like you need your fucking Orphan Annie or decoder ring from Christmas Story. But the mountains are dope. You go camping a lot. Like, do you travel a lot out here?
Yeah, like as much as I can. Like when times I work Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
So like weekend trips, like I'll like road trip or just catch a quick flight
Yeah.
and just run around when I can. But I'm honestly getting real into laying in bed with some wine and cheese and putting on 1995 classic movie.
Yeah, 1995 classic, The Monster Squad.
The Titanic,
Yeah.
2 VHS
Titanic,
tapes.
2 VHS tapes, side
Like
by sides.
It was like 4.
Yeah, 4 VHS tapes. Watch Apocalypto.
Yeah.
It's like,
like rewinding as you flip the VHS tapes.
yeah,
Like,
be kind, rewind. So Carly's out here for a week, and you were telling me, or you or her were telling me them steps. What were those steps called?
the Manitou Incline in Manitou Springs, and it's a mile of steps along a former railroad track that like people like to punish it, like
Yeah, it's just
take a
punishment.
picture and come down,
Yeah.
and like try not and like and like don't get impaled on a railroad spike on
Yeah.
the way down.
Is it? Have you done it?
I haven't.
No.
I've been. It's the only second time. I was up in Colorado Springs for the state's Press Association Awards, which were
Very prestigious.
Oh yes, Colorado Press Association. Like the Gutenberg press, that's where the term press comes from. They literally had to press ink onto sheets of paper. Like now we like have a imaginary cloud that like does shit with satellites. But yeah, so I was out there for that. That's only my second time, but I've been to like Garden of the Gods, which you could just drive through and take pictures. You don't have to kill yourself.
And what is that?
It's like another like national park area.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of red rocks and like
Okay.
volcanic activity.
Yeah, me and Antoinette went to Red Rocks Amphitheater yesterday.
Yeah.
During the day, and it was a fucking beautiful day. It couldn't have been better. It was like probably 50 degrees out, and we went to Red Rocks, and it's completely open. And Red Rocks is this big ass like concert venue, amphitheater type thing. That's they built it in a fucking was that
like a canyon area?
Yeah, it's a canyon
it's
area.
Like Red Rocks.
So did they use a natural form, or did they make that like that? Do you know?
No,
Like,
I think
They kind of just like
the
adapted.
topography of it
Yeah.
was like that, and then they just
They kind of
put
just
in
so it's like this big ass like
bowl.
stadium bowl,
Mhm.
and I mean they do all kinds of shows. Like right now it's what's today's date? Today is April 15th. In 5 days for the 420 Method Man and Redman and Snoop Dogg. You said we're performing there, right?
Yeah, Method Man and Redman play like every year. It's like an annual concert. Then it's like Lil Pump and Snoop Dogg and
But
someone else.
that place was wild out there because there was just so many people out there using it for like fitness, running up and down it.
Yeah, you could just go to it.
It was fucking
anytime.
beautiful though. Like I don't know, everything out here is just beautiful. It just feels refreshing to be like out in these mountains.
Yeah, it's like you could drive and do a painting.
Yeah. And it's insane, like where we're sitting right now. Like I'm gonna take some pictures for people to like I'm gonna post these whenever the podcast drops. But it's just, I mean, it's beautiful. It's everything that I could want. Like I like being outside. I like being in the fucking woods.
There's no humidity here either.
Yeah, and it feels incredible out here. It's just like there has been no bugs. It's just seems to be real nice. But where first of all, where are we going next after this? We're going to Echo
Mountain Lake.
Echo Mountain Lake Park, and I guess it's a big park, and it has like a roundabout trail that's like a mile and a half. So we're gonna go hike that,
Yeah,
and then go possibly get some Sasquatch tattoos.
yeah, fuck yeah, and we'll post after we did suffer through the hike.
Yeah, after we suffer through this flat hike, Antoinette's all scared. She's like, I can't hike. After we told our stories about like after our horror stories about
we
hiking.
talk about that 14, and she's like, I ain't doing
Yeah,
none of that shit.
yeah. It's like nope. Ain't doing that.
thought.
Ain't for me. My wife is not someone who likes to be in the woods and be around bugs and shit like that. She's just she likes the cabin glamping life where like we're out in the woods but you could still walk in the house and like shit in a toilet and like wash your hands and
Do your eyebrows.
and not have to like not have to do a cat hole and shit in the ground.
Yeah,
Fucking
and
cover it
bury
up like a
with
dog.
Bare bag, throw your food up in a tree.
And you guys are traveling to Telluride a little bit later today and go back there and hang out.
Yeah, we'll drive back tonight.
And how you said 6 hours away,
6 hours from like Denver.
and you work tomorrow.
I work tomorrow.
How
Back at it.
now? You're the editor of the paper. How many people do you work with in your company? Or not?
Yeah. We have like 12 people in the office.
Yeah.
And then in my department, there's 4 full-time and a part-time, and then like freelancers that we use. But there's like four permanent.
And
Editorial department.
so being out, like your general feel of Colorado, is it like there's less crime or
Maybe not in all Colorado, because Denver has some shit.
like what?
Around
Like
Denver, just like regular crime.
Okay.
Like cops crime. But like Telluride has like a less than 1% violent crime rate, so like nothing crazy happens there often. You know, like you'll turn on the in Pittsburgh, like the evening news or whatever, and it'll be
4
like
people got shot.
dead body found in McKeesport
Yeah.
garbage can. More to come. And then it's like the next day it'll be like 5 shot in Northside
Yeah.
drive by.
I know, it's fucked up,
Well, what
dude.
happened to the body in the garbage can?
Yes,
Like,
that got buried
it
because
just
some
doesn't
more fucked
matter.
up shit
Yeah,
happens.
Like it's just always happening. Like
They
you
just
almost
found
become
they just found 2 dead bodies around Mount Washington. One was
a good
skeletal
spot.
remains, and then one was like just over a hill, half decomposed. It's fucking insane. But like, there's not
They
a lot
died
of
during a hike.
Yeah, they died during the
They were
hike up
trying
Mount
to-
Washington.
They're trying to beat the incline up Mount Washington and died.
They got attacked by a deer, South Side Slopes deer. Like, so if there's not too much crime, like, are you guys like how do you guys get your content? Like, do people give you news stories? Like, how do you come across news stories?
It's more like government reporting. Like the town is considering adding another pot shop.
Yeah,
And you'll like just go cover meetings, and then there's like business trend and real estate stories, and
Yeah.
then there's like community news, like the 4th grade class is going to the spelling bee.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like
There's some
it's like
dumb
small
ass
town
shit.
news stuff.
Yeah, some dumb shit and some.
Yeah, it's definitely you're not
So if
covering 9/11 every day.
if anything wild happens, like, are you guys like?
It's big.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
It's like, what the fuck? And it usually goes national because Telluride is, I guess, such a well-known skiing destination. So, like,
It's automatic. Anything
Like,
that's on headlines, people probably
like
see
if
them.
if it's crazy, like national media outlets will pick it up in like New York.
So what's some wild shit that, what's like the wildest thing that you've had to deal with out here so far?
It's still going on. I mean, it's going to be going through the court system for a while, but it's a it's a double homicide involving 2 young children, 2 sisters, and the circumstances surrounding why they eventually perished are so bizarre. It had to do with a doomsday cult that was preparing for the eclipse in August.
The lunar eclipse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They thought during the lunar eclipse, whatever that date was, like it was like mid or late August, and
Yeah.
they thought once they reached that date that they would turn into cosmic beasts, is what they called it. So they would just be like spirits in the sky,
Yeah.
like the song. But they ended up deeming these children, which were like children of some of the group members, like bad. Like they had bad energy. They were bad spirits. They're not going to turn into the stars and universal beasts, and they're going to hold us back. So they had them sequestered in a vehicle on the property for like weeks at a time, and they ended up eventually like stop contacting or communicating with them altogether. So they weren't feeding them. They weren't drinking
like
water,
giving them
like
water or
anything. So they
anything.
basically like they died in the car, starvation. But that didn't come out. They didn't get discovered for like a month later.
And you said that was because of like it's basically like a desolate area.
Yeah, it happened in Norwood, Colorado, which is like a small rural farming town of like 500.
Oh, it's even smaller than Telluride.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the hills have eyes type shit, kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of like.
And you said that
it was on a property with no residents on it. It was just like on a former pot farm, so they were just like living in their car and like no one was around. It's on like a dead end road.
the people were living in their car that killed the kids.
There was like 5 group members and they had 3 cars.
Jesus. And you seen all this?
I didn't actually go to like the ground zero, like where it all happened, because it was like in on the property, but I was at the crime scene.
That's fucking insane.
And you see like all the official vehicles and like the police
Yeah.
and like the coroners there, and they have like yellow tape up, and I like the big police, the mobile headquarters were like behind the red or the yellow tape, and I was like, what the fuck is going on here? So like I picked up the tape and I like went and I walked to, I went and I got yelled at and they were like, you can't be stomping around this active crime scene.
Yeah.
I was like, what's going on? I was like, you need to, I was like, just tell me first. I was like, someone over there told me I'd just come to you,
Yeah, just kind of play it off.
I'm just lost. Help me. But yeah, it was wild, but I didn't see like any of the,
No.
the
I get
remains
that,
or
but like
anything.
that's
Sick.
yeah.
That'd be sick.
You're
fuck.
fucking sick.
You sick fuck.
That's
No, but
that's seriously nuts though.
yeah, and there's five like co-defendants. So like,
How
they've
old are
all-
these people?
They like the youngest, like the guy's property who they were staying on. He was like 23.
Oh,
And then
really?
everyone-
That young?
Yeah, he was like a young guy. He was a local, and
Jesus.
the other group members that were like on a road trip around the country were like anywhere from like 30 something to like early 50s.
Jesus. So what's your process of like, how do you report something like that? Like, that this happens and you just go to the scene and like try to talk to anyone you can?
Yeah, you hear something's happening. Where the county I'm in, San Miguel County, has like a public information officer. I mean, a lot of departments have it, so they'll be like, hey, there's something going on in Norwood.
Yeah.
And then they have social media too, so they might tweet something or put it on Facebook, and You're like, okay, like, is it serious enough for like us to drive there? Because it's like a 45-minute
drive out there.
She's like, yeah. The PIO was like, yeah. And we were like, okay, like, we're sending someone out there. And you like get there, and then you like just start talking to like officials, you know, like the cops.
Yeah, just trying to like,
hey, you like tell them who you are and what's going on. I'm hearing this. You always want to like verify.
Yeah.
And usually what happens is someone will point you to someone who points you to someone else. They give you like the runaround, and then you're just like, all right,
Yeah.
like I need to know. Like I'm on, you know, I have to get this out. And then you just kind of collect, and you kind of have to keep following up, and they don't want to say anything right away. I keep dropping the mic, man.
It's all right. It's hard. I have.
It's a heavy mic.
Yeah, it's a heavy mic, but I have mic arms for him. But we're outside
you see that
doing
Yoda
this.
up there?
No. Oh yeah, I do see a couple yods. Anyway, wait. So finish your story because I'm interested about it. And
So I'll go to the site and collect as much info as I can.
Yeah.
And then you always have to stay on top of it because like authorities don't want to like say stuff
Yeah.
right away. You know,
Yeah.
they're like real skeptical, and they want to be like definitive when they say stuff.
Yeah. They want to
To
know
put out there,
100%.
like you don't want to like they don't want to like get it wrong and then have to retract what they said. So you kind of have to like pester them. That's definitely a trait of being a journalist. You have to like annoy the shit out of people.
Learn how to like finesse people the right way to get info out of them. Yeah, I bet
Or
you.
you could, you know, like word things. You're like, you know, you always play dumb.
Yeah.
It's not hard for me, but but just stupid. Yeah, you just like learn like little quirks, like dealing with people. Like my job is basically like as a reporter.
Yeah.
Like I go in to my office and I hear something, and I have to call complete strangers and ask them about stuff. And sometimes it's like terrible things, like the loss of a child or like a murder case or something. And you have to talk to these people in a way that you get you what you need, but you also don't want to come off as like calloused either.
Yeah.
So you have to like talk to them and like kind of like
So you're
build
not like
trust.
shutting them out. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't just get on the phone and you're like, so I heard your kid died in a car accident. How do you feel? When did that happen? What did it look like? You know, like you're like, I'm sorry for your loss, but we would like to do a story because
like,
I think people care about this.
Yeah, and like kind of just finesse them.
Yeah, and then you're like,
As terrible as it is, but like,
and sometimes it's like I
the way
leave
it
a
has to be.
message or whatever, and I explain what's up, and I was like, if you choose to talk to me, that's fine. If not, I understand. You know?
Yeah. So like a crazy event like this with these child murders, like you said, this is like a huge deal.
Oh yeah, like the New York Post picked it up, the Associated Press picked it up, like within, like we broke it at like on a Friday night, and like by
this
the end
was
of the
breaking news, like everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like our newspaper was the first one. Like I went on TV and talked about it.
Really?
With like Denver news stations. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, because I was the only one on the scene because it was
Yeah.
like no one was going to get there.
Now let me ask you a question.
Without,
So like
an hour or so.
they found these two kids, and like from the time they found these two kids dead, how long until they found like who did it? Like,
Well, they were
did you guys think that there was like a killer out there or something?
no, like it was pretty evident that these were kids of a group or a couple in the group.
Yeah.
And there was just foul play. So they all got
Okay.
charged initially with like child abuse causing death.
Yeah. Jesus.
So yeah, there wasn't like a third party like a Ted Bundy running around or anything, but like
yeah.
yeah, it was fucked up.
That's
And, like,
insane.
And then like we're putting out like these like stories of just like what's happening from what we can get.
Yeah.
And then, you know, people, small town, start whispering, and you're like hearing things, and you're like, that sounds far fetched.
Yeah.
About like the cult.
Oh yeah. Okay, I get
Like
what you're saying.
like 4 of the group members were originally from like they started in like North Carolina, like on their road trip, but like they were originally from like Haiti and Jamaica. So like a bunch of rumors, and you're like, okay, I don't think, you know, like you're stereotyping.
Yeah.
And then like it's coming out like, well, it was. That like that's crazy, but like we couldn't confirm it right away.
Yeah, so you couldn't like just
and you
say
couldn't
that.
just like, you know, like you don't
And
wanna
lie
deal
about
in,
it.
deal in rumors, and then the cops will be like, that's not it at all.
Yeah, that's
like, what
that's
the fuck?
fucking insane.
Yeah, and then we got then the first advisement of charges hearing, it all came out and myself and the reporter from the local radio station were sitting there, and our eyes were just like super big. We were like, oh my God. We're like, this is wild. And you're like writing it down. You're like, I have to, like, you're trying to all process it. You're like, how am I going to put this out? Like,
Yeah.
it's
And
a fun process. I like it because, like, no 2 days are the same.
Yeah, and it's like you're always writing about different shit, I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure. But so you yourself, do you write articles for your paper right now?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what kind of shit do you write about? Anything?
Yeah, pretty much anything. I've been covering the Norwood case primarily, so it's like just keeping up on like their court dates and stuff. But yeah, like on a day-to-day, like when we're putting out papers, I'll just write anything like the local theater production,
Yeah.
or something, or like this about an interesting member of the community. Or
Now, with your work being that, would you say that exposes you to a lot of new things? Like, do you have to go see different things to like
Oh,
write
yeah.
about? Obviously, right?
Oh yeah, like like journalists have their different strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
Like a person that's like a hard news, like cops and crime reporter, might not be good at writing like an in-depth like narrative feature about like like a special group of people or person
Yeah.
that has like a cool talent. But yeah, like, so journalists have to be like, when you're taking on all these different types of stories, you have to be a quasi-expert.
What does that mean? Explain what that is.
Like whatever the assignment is, if you don't know about it, you have to learn about.
Yeah.
You have to learn as much about it as quickly as possible,
So
correctly as possible,
so-
and produce it so other people that may not know anything
Okay.
about it also get it.
Okay.
Like you can't write and assume people know.
Yeah.
Like even like the
you got to build a
details of the
foundation for
case.
people
Yeah.
to like
explain what the new wastewater treatment technology is like. And
Yeah.
it's like they use like bacteria to break down the waste.
Yeah.
To be more carbon neutral.
That's definitely. I could see why that could be an interesting job.
Yeah, and it could be, and then there's the nerve-wracking side of it, because you're like, I hope I'm like explaining this right.
Yeah.
And then if it's wrong, someone will definitely call you out on it.
Do you have
You hear about it.
have you had that? Like where
Yeah.
people have said like this is a terrible article?
Oh yeah, and just being like that's wrong. Just telling you like that's wrong.
Like wrong, like those aren't
Yeah.
the facts of it.
Yeah, like that's wrong.
How do
Like,
people
that's
go
not
about
how-
doing that?
Sometimes like I've gotten like emails that like people are nice about it. Like
Okay.
they'll be like, good story, but
Real
like
real
A
passive.
for effort. And you're just like, okay, like thank you.
Yeah.
And make a change like on the website.
Yeah.
Or run a correction in print if it deems it. And then this one guy, I wrote this one feature story, and I was like, oh, this is a good feature story. People are gonna read this.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna like it. And it was about this dude. It was like a story of redemption. It was about this dude that like got charged with all this poaching shit because he was like hunting on private property and like
Yeah.
killing elk in protected areas. And
That's a huge deal for anyone that doesn't
Oh
know
my
that.
God,
Like,
yeah.
like they'll steal your car, your
Yeah, they'll
your money, like anything involved with that, they will take away from you. Like if you kill protected animals, like it's a huge deal.
yeah, you could end up in federal prison.
Yeah.
Depending on, but I think this guy shot an elk on private property, on protected property,
Yeah.
as an elk guide when he wasn't licensed to be an elk guide. And in Telluride, which is a very like progressive area, they were like, it didn't go well when that stuff came out.
Yeah.
Like the elk are fucking sacred. They're fucking protected. You don't fucking kill them. And and so he basically was like, fuck this, and he left town.
Yeah.
And then like authorities caught up to him and they were like, you're a poacher or whatever. And he like did his time and stuff. It was like a fine and community service. And so I wrote this story about how he like wants to come back to the, he's like, he wants to put his story out there because it was like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
All that went down.
Like tell his side.
So
of
I'm
it.
like talking to him, and he's like a real sweet guy and real honest. And he's like he's originally from Alabama, so he had like a southern twang, and he was like real fucking endearing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was just
Kentucky
like,
Fried.
yeah. And I was like, this is gonna be a good story. And I talked to someone that knew him, that he actually did work for, who's like actually a movie producer that lives around town, and
Yeah.
he's like, so and so is a real good guy. And I was like, this is a fucking good story. and and I put it out, and like I get a call. It was a Sunday story, and I got a call Monday morning from this local rancher, horse trainer, Old West, badass throwback type of guy.
Oh yeah, like John Wayne
His first
type.
name's Rowdy.
Oh shit.
And he calls me, he's like, Justin, it's Rowdy. And everyone knows Rowdy. I'm like, I never met him in person. I'm like, okay. and and he was like, I'm going to tell you what so-and-so said was a load of shit. Man, did he feed you a fucking line, man? And I'm just like, well, I appreciate the call. He was like, that was my fucking property that was on. He was like, and that's not how it went down. I was like, well, I just took what I could from the official records and so
made
he
it.
served. He was like, I don't know what the fuck made you do a story on him.
So he was just pissed. That's all I got.
And I was like, he did reach out to us. He was like, yeah, well, he fed you a fucking line. He's like, you want a story? He's like, just come on down to my place sometime. I'm still down on the corner.
Yeah.
He's like, just come by sometime. I'll take you around. I'm like, okay. He's like, and then he kept going back. He was like, that guy's a fucking asshole. If you want to know the truth.
Gets
And
real pissed.
And I'm just like, I have the phone up to my ear. It's like 9 in the morning. Like you just get in and you're like sleepy and you just want to be like, fuck this.
Yeah, on a Monday, 9
Fuck
in the
out of
morning.
here. I'm just going to quit. and then I'm just like, yes, appreciate the call. And I just hang up and like, you know, people are like, oh, who was that?
That was Rowdy.
That was fucking Rowdy. And
He was
didn't
rowdy.
like what
Yeah.
the fuck I write. I was like, I'm scared. No, I'm kidding. But I was like, yeah, just Rowdy blowing off some steam. They're like, oh, you know?
Yeah, you just got to take it as
As long as he doesn't come in the office with a fucking lasso.
Yeah. Hog tie you.
Yeah.
What's your favorite things to write about? Like, what is your favorite content to write about?
I like lean more towards feature writing. Like
What-
more like like the story I did about the
The murders.
poacher.
Okay.
Like, I was able to do a feature on the murders
What-
after all the details came out, so you could kind of write it like a true crime.
Oh, okay. Like
an in cold
longer.
blood, yeah.
Yeah.
Not that my story was anywhere near that.
Yeah, that's fucking
But
crazy.
yeah,
though.
like a true crime type of angle narrative. But yeah, I like the features and like entertainment. Like there's 4 really big festivals in Telluride, so we get to do a lot of music.
Yeah, you said there was a movie festival, right?
Yeah, there's a film festival and like and a horror.
Yeah, that's what it was. The horror film festival. When is that?
That's usually the second weekend of October.
Yeah, we might have to come out for that.
Hell yes. It was
Yeah.
on Friday the 13th this year.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah,
it was the day of my wedding.
You
So
were at a freaking
any-
wedding, and we were there.
Yeah, so anyone that enough about these murders and things like that. So like I said
Terrible.
before, me and Justin have been friends for a long ass time, and me and Antoinette, my wife, just got married Friday the 13th, and I knew Justin has always been kind of like a bookworm type. I knew he worked for a newspaper. He's always been very well spoken, very poetic and gothic, and just like
I'm basically Edgar Allan fucking Poe.
yeah, it's like a modern day
Edgar Allan.
Edgar Allan. But me and Antoinette were like, hey, will you officiate our wedding? Like, we're not the whole get married in a church type, but
Genuflect.
yeah, genuflect. We're not a get married in a church type, but we were like, who the fuck is gonna officiate our wedding? Like, I don't want anyone that I don't know to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, it would be awesome if you did it. So Justin officiated our wedding. We were his first wedding. What was your experience
First
in
and
that?
probably only.
Yeah, only. Why you say only? You did
Because-
awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I should promote it more.
Yeah,
I could do weddings and eulogies.
and bar mitzvah.
I can do bar mitzvahs actually.
Yeah, bat
Yeah.
mitzvah.
There's a section in my book about it. But I became like a minister, like a Universal Life Church minister, where you just like sign up for free online, like as a joke.
And that's what it is online.
Yeah, and
You have to take like a bullshit test, and it's anyone could do it.
you don't even have to take a test when I did it. I just entered my email. But like, if you want to practice,
Just
if you want to practice, you have to buy the packet. You have to get
Yeah.
like you have to buy your certificate to like show that like this is legit.
Yeah,
And then there's like marriage license, which like when I was when you like asked me, I was like, yeah, sure. And it was like a year.
Yeah,
Before.
I asked you definitely like probably even over a year before.
Yeah,
because it was
before I moved.
summertime. It was summertime, and it wasn't even fall yet. And you moved, and you were already gone for a year, and it was the next year. So we asked you a year and a half ahead of time.
And I was like, yeah, sure. Like I didn't think much of it. Then as it like kept coming up, I was like, okay, I have to do this because I never practiced before. Like you were going to be my first one, and like I was like reading the book, and I was just like, okay, this isn't going to be too bad. But then I was like, I'm not going to just read verbatim.
Yeah.
So I was like writing all this shit, and I was like, what do I do? And then I was like, I don't know how to organize this. And you're like, dude, we have a wedding planner.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, yeah.
So you were able to just talk to her a little bit.
Yeah. And so I was like real nervous. And then when we were like going over stuff, and I was like, this is what it's going to be like. And it's going to be like less than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And shit.
And that's what we wanted. We didn't want nothing crazy.
And then
wanted
like
a quick
we
service.
tweaked it a little bit, and I was like feeling good. But then like a terrible public speaker. Like I get nervous as fuck.
Yeah, and we had about 165 people there.
Yeah, and I mean just anything like just like being like the center.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I was like,
and you were the fucking guy, the center of the guy at the
like,
wedding.
I had to like move things along.
Yeah.
Like, follow me on this journey. But I got up there, and I remember like when you guys started walking down, and like, you know, the groomsmen and bridesmaids are there, and then we're like smiling, like Brian's over there, like, like with his cheese dick smile on, and like I'm like, okay, this is gonna be all right. And then I started talking, and I was like, and I was like shaking, and I was like, what the fuck? And then I like looked over, and I saw like Kirsch was there, and like Dixon.
Yeah, a bunch of
people. I like
people.
started like settling down.
Yeah, it's like all people were friends
it
with.
like ended. I thought it ended well, but like I was nervous at first. I was like, am I gonna make it through this?
You had such like an interesting like service. You definitely like we're not me and Antoinette are really not like ordinary type. So like we definitely were into doing something like different, and Justin incorporated like all kinds of shit in there.
Yeah, I made it like I played up like the Friday the 13th. Like it was a little macabre. But like my whole like the kicker was like, oh, everyone, you know, this is like maybe this weird happenstance or whatever on the date, and everyone thinking this and that and bad juju. And I was like, it doesn't matter, guys, because the bond is so strong.
Yeah,
you know, that was my kicker.
It was so good though. Everything was awesome about it. The whole wedding went well.
Dude, that was fun.
It was a really fun time. It was a very interesting experience in life as a wedding. I do appreciate that. It was an epic time.
Yeah, that was fun. I just wanted Iron City bottles, man.
I know that. What kind
that
of
was my payment.
What kind of beer do you
Iron
want?
City bottles.
Yeah, I want Iron City bottles. That was all he wanted for the weekend. That was a yeah. I mean, I'm fucking married.
You're fucking married.
And that's where we are right here. This is part of the honeymoon. And we traveled.
6-month anniversary.
Yeah, it was so weird because we got married on October 13th, 2018. And then we traveled, or 2017. And then we traveled to Colorado April 13th, 2018. So we traveled to our honeymoon type thing on 6-month anniversary, which was also a Friday the 13th, which was just very, very bizarre.
Very witchy.
Yeah, people were like, people always say like, they're like, oh, when did you get married? And we were like, we got married on Friday the 13th. And they're like, oh, that's...
Like, oh, you must really like The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, it's like, that's different. It's like, that's very different. Like, they're always like, oh, I didn't expect that. And I'm just like, yeah. Well,
that's why you weren't invited.
Yeah, it's why you weren't there. But
no, that was cool. That was a good time, dude.
It was a very good time.
We were also in the woods.
We were also in the woods. Like we're woods people.
We're just hillsmen.
Yeah, we're hillsmen. We're lumberjacks.
Hillers.
Yeah, we're fake lumberjacks.
Remember when the power went out?
Yeah, so
and
like
we thought we were all gonna get axe murdered.
Yeah, the night before the wedding, we were up in the middle on top of this mountain in this like log cabin mansion, and Friday night this fucking crazy storm comes over. It's just like super windy, a little bit of rain, and then the power goes out. Fucking, it's insane. Well water, so like no water worked, no lights were on. It was in the middle of nowhere. There was a bunch of people there.
Cemetery across
Yeah,
the street.
cemetery
from,
across
like,
the street, and we were just
pilgrims.
like, "What the fuck is gonna go on tonight?" And it's about to be Friday the 13th.
Yeah, it was like right before midnight.
Yeah, it literally just happened right before midnight, like 11:45, and we were like, "What the fuck?" So I'm calling the people that own the house, no answers at all, and we're like, "Well, we're gonna fucking die tonight." And then a couple people that were there were like, "Nah, man, it's gonna be all right. Everything is gonna be okay. Lights are gonna turn on." Literally 2 minutes later, they turned on, and we just had an amazing rest of the week.
Like, it was funny how quickly everyone's mind were like, we're just gonna die.
Yeah, everyone's like, "It's Friday the 13th. We're a big group in the woods. We're all gonna fucking die." It's like,
And it was like following like that cliche classic like storyline. It was like three guys were like, well, we're gonna go check out around back.
Yeah.
Like, they're the first ones that never come back.
and then there was a fucking knock on the front door, and we were like, "What the fuck?" And then it turned out someone else that was like coming to visit. We forgot that they were coming and showing up late, but like
Didn't
it was
know the
dark
power
as
was
fuck.
out.
It was, the storm was going on, and we were standing there in the middle of the living room, and we were all just like, "What the fuck?" And then you hear this fucking knock on the front door, and I'm like, Jesus Christ! So there's 4 guys, and we're all like, "All right, let's fuck this person up if they're like coming after
It was
us."
the hashling slasher.
Yeah, the hash. Slender Man. It was actually just JT Smurdo. But yeah, it was an
Tripped over
epic
the
time.
cords.
Wonderful time.
Yeah, that was fun.
Did you get drunk after? Were you pretty fucked up?
Yeah.
It was
after
such
your
a
wedding?
Yeah, it was a blur for us.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it was just like
Yeah, well,
the whole time was just a fucking blur.
we tried going back to the house, and we got there. You guys got
Oh,
lost,
my
which we didn't know.
God.
So when we
So-
got there, no one was there.
So
were
we
like,
fucking
got
get
McDonald's or
this.
something.
We had this bus that was rented to take us back from the venue, which was like, 25 minutes away. So this old ass lady, old as fuck, was driving this big ass bus, and she missed the first turn, and then the GPS took her another way. It took us up the backside of a fucking mountain, and we were like, we're definitely not making this. 100% we're not making it up this hill. Lo and behold, this old ass lady bottomed out a couple times, and then we ended up rocking back and getting out, and we ended up making it to the house, and party till the fucking break of dawn.
And power stayed on.
Yeah, I don't know. It was pretty good though.
Dude, that was fun.
As far as things I wanted to ask you, I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to ask you. We should probably wrap it up so we could go hiking.
Hike. Yeah, we need to go put ourselves through a Sufferfest.
Yeah, Sufferfest. But before we go, I ask everyone, I have a thing called Desert Island Questions. Desert Island Questions, I ask every one of our guests. I give you 3 choices I give you 3 options for 3 categories to take with you on a desert island, straight up Tom Cruise style. So if you were able to take 3 films with you on a desert island to watch over and over again for the rest of your life, what would they be?
3 films that I would bring with me on a desert island.
Yes.
I'm thinking one of them is Reservoir Dogs.
Okay, that's
like,
a good one.
for sure. Like,
Yeah.
that one just sticks out in
Who's
my
your favorite
mind.
character?
I like Tim Roth in that.
Yeah, very, very good.
Fucking dying.
Yeah,
back.
yeah, he's fucking dying, man.
I'm fucking dying.
They just drop him off.
Yeah. Reservoir Dogs, I don't know, like, it was just such a badass movie. When I first saw that, I was like, oh my God.
I love Michael Chiklis.
Yeah, and it was just...
Or is that his name, Michael Chiklis?
Stuck in the Middle with You?
Yeah.
That guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. He was the dad in Free Willy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
okay.
he was in Hateful Eight, too.
Yeah,
That was
Hateful
just-
Eight too. That was an
which I-
incredible movie.
Yeah, I just rewatched that because that was filmed around Telluride.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that was filmed around Telluride.
Oh shit, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Jeez.
There
That's a
isn't
fantastic Tarantino
mini
movie.
haberdashery, though. Out.
Minnie's Haberdashery.
Yeah, out in Telluride.
Man, that's an awesome movie for anyone that's never seen it.
Yeah. So what? I got 2 more?
Yeah, your first choice. You already
got Reservoir
Yeah,
Dogs.
Reservoir Dogs, which is a good choice.
Yeah, I feel like a horror movie.
Yeah.
I would totally bring. I guess it's not one movie, but I have like the full collection of like the Universal Monster original run.
Oh yeah, like
And-
Swamp Monster, Dracula,
yeah.
Wolfman.
Yep, the one. Yeah, it's. I think.
Fun
yeah,
fact.
It's Dracula. Go ahead.
Fun fact. Me and Justin both have the Swamp Monster tattooed on our fucking legs.
Yeah, I got. Yeah, you got.
Mine's from the Monster Squad.
And I have from Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah, it's fucking sick.
Where he's kidnapping The beautiful.
Me and
young
Justin
lady.
became friends because I had movie knowledge. Him and our buddy Josh Bekowitz, they were like, "Oh, you like movies, huh? You ever see Father's Day?" I was like, "Robin Williams? Fuck yeah, I seen that." And
That
we just
was
friends
that
after
was like that was like the test. We were being movie stars, and we were like, just gotta know it's fucking Father's Day because we like thought that movie was so fucking funny.
Billy
We
Crystal
watched
and
it,
Robin Williams for
and-
anyone who's never seen it.
Yeah. And we were like, what about Father's Day? You're like, yeah, Robin Williams. And we're like, we started quoting it like immediately.
And we just
Like,
were
that's
friends
why
since
our
then.
little name's
And
Rainbow.
then, and then we went to the movie store and we were like,
We rented
Yeah,
a
the
movie,
yeah.
VHS,
yeah, it was awesome.
of Monster Squad.
Yeah, Monster Squad.
Your suggestion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you never seen it before that? I thought you did.
Maybe I did.
Maybe Bekowitz did,
Yeah.
because he was a movie dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He had
Yeah.
a bunch. He was real into they were real into like Mike Myers.
Yeah, Halloween movies. I loved them. They're making a new one. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Danny McBride is doing it.
Yeah.
I think he is. I don't know. Regardless, so you got the Universal Monsters. You got Reservoir Dogs.
My third one.
Yeah,
And maybe I'll just pick a new one that I saw.
that's fine.
The Lobster. Let's take the
The Lobster with Colin Farrell.
That one was funny as fuck.
Very, very bizarre.
Like
Very
some
bizarre movie.
dystopian.
Very,
It was
very.
an Australian movie.
Yeah, like artistic. Like very, very like a lot of meanings. Like
Not everyone's gonna get this.
Yeah,
but
not
for
everyone's
those that
gonna
do,
get
it's they're gonna love it.
Yeah, they're gonna love it.
They have like midnight screenings. It's like Rocky Horror Picture Show now.
Yeah, very cult following.
Yeah.
Um,
What's that other one that had that cult following with James Franco?
the Disaster Artist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never seen that yet. Everyone said it was really good.
I
Though.
haven't seen it. And what was the movie, the terrible movie?
The Room.
The Room.
Yeah, it was called The Room, and that was that. I can't remember his name, but he's a.
With the disaster artist.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
No.
Regardless, fuck that. This
Movie
is
sucks anyway.
so. This is the question that I was pumped to ask you about because every single other person I've asked on here, no one reads, and like the next category
No one don't read
is
no more.
3 books to take with you on a desert island.
3 books.
Yeah, no one ever has answers to go with that. So I usually will be like, oh yeah, for Dylan or not for Dylan, but the other dude that I know that likes video games, his name's Jay. He was on here. I was like, well, pick 3 video games, but for you, you're obviously a reader, so 3 books you would take with you.
Yeah, I would definitely take probably Welcome to the Monkey House, which is by Kurt Vonnegut. It's a collection of like his short stories,
Okay.
and he just has such like a sarcastic, satirical, like black humor drenched style of writing.
Yeah.
I just like I'll literally just like smirk or like laugh out loud when I read it.
Yeah. Small
So,
passive things that you just pick up.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I totally feel you. So that would definitely be one of them. And then I would bring. I'm trying to narrow it down, bro.
That's all right.
I'd bring Thomas Ligotti's. I have the Songs of a Dead Dreamer and Grim Scribe all in one text, but those were his first 2
What is
books. And they're both also collections of short stories, but they're like these bizarro, macabre,
Yeah.
like one of them's called like Confessions of a Mannequin, where like this woman thinks she's a mannequin and her therapist is like, you're not a mannequin, and then it switches and like she actually is a mannequin and it drives the therapist crazy.
Jesus.
And it's just like weird bizarro stuff like that. One's
you
about
enjoy.
like making one's about like a garden group that makes plants out of humans.
Jesus.
And the guy
And who is this?
Thomas Ligotti.
Thomas Ligotti.
And the guy, the protagonist in it, is a part of this club as a secret
Yeah.
because he doesn't want this girl he really likes to know, and then he shows her and she's like, what the fuck? And like the group members are like, well, I guess we go to plant another flower. And they like,
Oh
kill
shit.
her.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Make her a plant.
and they're like, quit bringing females. Like, quit trying to swoon people with
Yeah.
this because we have to keep killing them. So, so
Man,
that
I would like to
definitely
read that, I
dude,
feel.
Dude, it's so funny. And, like, there's also, like, like black humor in it. Like, you'll just be like, this is so absurd that, like...
Black
it's
humor,
funny.
like you're talking about like Big Mama's House type black humor.
No, like,
I'm
dark
just kidding. I was just kidding. It was a
humor,
joke.
like Tyler Perry type of humor.
Yeah. That's what I was talking about. Medea.
Yeah.
Yeah, dark. Okay, so you got those collections. You got
Yeah, and I got
the
one
Monkey
more.
House. Was that what it's called?
Yeah, Welcome to the Monkey House.
Monkey House.
I got Grim Scribe and Songs of a Dead Dreamer.
Yeah.
I get real obsessed with books. Like I get real.
That's
into them,
fine.
you know what I mean?
That's fine.
And then probably the last one would probably be a Hunter S. Thompson
Okay.
work. I don't know if it would be Fear and Loathing. I just reread Kentucky Derby's Decadent and Deprived, which is just a long magazine feature. But I got Generation of Swine on my bookshelf, which is like all of his 1980s columns. When
Yeah.
he was writing for like the San Fran Examiner. I have like a really self-deprecating, like almost nihilistic, I guess, type of sense of humor.
Yeah.
Like just like real agnostic.
Yeah.
You
Just
know,
like a grim.
Yeah, like the Earth's gonna get hit by an asteroid.
Yeah. Like
I'd
fuck
be
it,
cool
we're
with it.
yeah,
Like,
fuck
I
it, we're
wish-
here. Yeah,
Yeah.
like real bleak outlook, like teen
Yeah.
angst.
Yeah.
It's like they don't fucking get me.
Like I swoop real hard.
They don't get me.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
so
yeah, so I like writers that have like that type of outlook that just make fun of things that everyone's like, you shouldn't. That is not.
yeah, that's not appropriate. You shouldn't like that.
Yeah. Like
Okay.
Stephen Hawking died. You know what I'm saying? Like we're fucked.
Yeah.
Like Stephen Hawking died. We're fucked. Who else is gonna make like decisions for
Yeah.
humanity? Man?
Elon Musk.
Well, he's putting a fucking car up in his space.
Yeah, who knows what's going
Right.
on with all that? It's a very interesting
We
world.
should be looking for another goddamn planet to inhabit because we're
Yeah.
gonna suck this one dry, man.
Yeah, soon enough. Okay, so
Hopefully.
you picked films, you picked books. Now this is another one. 3 musical albums to take with you. This is probably
Fucking knew you were gonna ask that,
yeah. This is a difficult question.
dude. I'm gonna have to. I'll have to bring the Misfits, are like my favorite band.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I'm definitely gonna bring probably a Misfits maybe collection 1
okay,
or 2, which will have like 50 songs on it in like 30 minutes.
yeah,
So that's definitely one of them, and I'm also gonna bring probably a He Is Legend album
okay. That's a good one.
because that's
Didn't they come out with a new one?
Yeah, it's called Few.
Was it pretty good?
Yeah, I actually went up and saw them in Seattle. And it
I
was
didn't-
fucking awesome.
Yeah, I've never seen them live.
Oh.
Maybe Warped Tour once.
Yeah,
Probably Warped Tour once.
they played in Lawrenceville and we're like Spirit Lounges now.
Yeah,
The
Spirit.
old Elks Lodge.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
and
remember
like
that.
no one.
I only
it was,
went
like,
there one
fucking-
time. I can't remember who I seen there.
It was with, like Girl Fight. I think they like.
I remember
opened-
Girl
I
Fight.
think they opened up for Girl Fight.
Wasn't Latanzi in that?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Richie, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Huh. I do remember them now. Jeez. They were
think-
pretty big for a second.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, in Pittsburgh. And,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm pretty sure He's Legend opened up for Girl Fight.
Wow. That's epic.
Yeah, but that was before it was like even used as like a
Like-
hangout space. It
yeah.
was just like the Elks Lodge.
Yeah. And that's just a place they got to
And
play.
like Lawrenceville was not
was nothing back then.
cool. And like we were leaving. It was me. It was me, Dave Denny, Zach Pishney, and Ryan Prevett.
Yeah. Zach Fishney, a previous guest on I'll Call You Right Back podcast.
Yes, Zach from like
Episode
Moss to Flame.
1. And now he's planning like Moss to Flames. Just fucking killing it.
I met him in Brooklyn, in Portland.
Oh, yeah? That's
I went out to see
awesome.
him.
That's awesome. He
and hung
fucking
out with
shreds, dude.
Oh, fucking yeah.
Dude, I love
Dude.
Moss. Like, I love their new stuff. Even it got a little bit like softer almost.
Yeah.
I love it. I enjoy it. It's like I don't listen to too much metal anymore. It's like I listen to the old shit, the nostalgic shit. Like, you know, like I'll listen to like Census Fail. Like Census Fail is not really metal, but I'll listen to like Castle Grayskull and like Life Ruiner and like shit like that.
Yeah.
Still, but I don't listen to a lot of new stuff really. But Moths, like I listen to the new shit obviously because Zach is in there, but like I like it. Like, but I like the new way that a lot of older bands are going. Like Bring Me the Horizon.
Yeah.
Like they went from saying like fucked up lyrics to like making like
Yeah.
real like meaningful like powerful tracks
Uh-huh.
rather than just like tracks shitting on women.
Yeah, like using the C word a bunch.
Yeah, using the See You Next Tuesday word.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have the Misfits. You have
Yeah.
the
Definitely not bring in. I don't know. See, I might bring that.
Misfits. He is Legend.
Yeah, He's Legend. I don't know which album.
That's all right, I'll let you
I'd
take
probably
all of them.
take Heavy Fruit.
Okay.
You're like, just get off the fucking phone.
No. Get off the fucking phone.
And my last one, just because it just does something to me deep down in my plums. I'd probably bring Slayer, Rain and Blood.
Okay.
It's like the most vicious, aggressive fucking album ever.
Yeah, just straight chaos. Just like,
you don't even know what happened to you. It's like it's so fast too. You're just like,
you know, earlier I said I've not seen a bug, and now
No,
we
dude,
just
we're getting
started
fucking
seeing
attacked. They're
fucking attacked by bugs. It's insane.
fucking pick us
Okay,
up and
I
take
got
us
one
away.
last question for you. If you could have a conversation with anyone in the world, alive or dead, who would it
Just
be
like
and
anyone in
why?
history ever.
Anyone you want.
Whoa.
Pull that mic up to your mouth.
I would probably have a conversation with like a historical political figure like Andrew Jackson.
Andrew Jackson.
Yeah.
That's a wild answer.
Like Andrew Jackson.
I was waiting for
badass.
like a Poe or Hunter S. Thompson type.
Yeah, those went through my head. I don't think talking to Edgar Allan Poe would be that fun because
Probably
he's
be
like
like
a
talking
brooding
to
little emo
fucking
bitch.
yeah. He'd
You know what I mean?
probably be talking to like the weird kid in high school.
Yeah, I'd
that,
be
like,
like,
Yeah, it doesn't want to talk that you got to pull info out of.
yeah, like
Andrew Jackson, huh?
Andrew Jackson. Man.
Why?
Born for a Storm. He was just badass, man.
Yeah.
He just from when he was an orphan and he got caught up in like the British soldiers during the Revolution,
Yeah.
like fucked him up, and ever since then he was like, fuck them.
Yeah.
You know?
I ain't taking this
and,
no more.
Battle New Orleans, and then he was just like a real badass, you know, in the political arena. He just had like a strong persona. I think like he's one of the only presidents that didn't run the country at a deficit.
That's a good answer.
Him
though.
and like Bill Clinton.
It's an interesting answer.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he would be like that old wise man.
I'm cool with that.
That'd be like cool to hang out with. Get you
Yeah,
drunk,
just to
maybe
talk
fondle
to.
you a little
Yeah,
bit.
maybe fondle you a little bit. Well, Andrew Jackson, that's Justin's goal in life. If he could talk to anyone in the world, he wants to be fondled by Andrew Jackson.
He's on the $20 bill.
Yeah, for
If
anyone
you
who
don't
doesn't know.
He's that guy.
Well, man, I think that's
Dude,
about
this
it.
has been fun.
I appreciate you very much. I'm happy we got this in while we were up here. I wanted to
yeah,
record a
for sure.
podcast in Colorado, and Justin is officially the first guest, the first non-Pittsburgh local guest. I mean, he grew up in Pittsburgh, but he's definitely a Colorado liver.
I still
or-
bleed black and gold, but
And,
I just breathe Colorado air.
This is technically the highest podcast, too. We're probably 8,000 foot up.
We are completely sober, but it is highest elevation-wise.
Yeah. Yeah, but this has been incredible. I appreciate you
cool
very
spot,
much.
man.
Plug
for the
anything
pics.
you want to do. You're not really a social media guy, but
But
like,
I'll definitely post about this.
okay.
Does your podcast also have a separate handle?
Yeah.
Cool.
I'll give
Should
you
I
all the
put this-
information.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'll send you the details.
Yeah, I'll send you the detail. Last night we all got here. This is just a side note. Me and Antoinette and Justin's sister and Justin were all sitting inside watching Queer Eye. And Queer Eye is a show on Netflix where 5 gay guys go and they pretty much make over a guy like our dad. Like someone who's just like wearing like the Nike like Concords with like the denim jeans.
White socks.
Yeah,
black
like the
shoes.
white socks that just like, you know, the old yins are dead, but like they just completely remake him, give him new hipster glasses. They pretty much turn your dad into a hipster. But it was real good, and there was
Or
a guy
Ulysses
on there.
S. Grant.
Ulysses S. Grant. That's what the guy thought he looked like last night.
with a big beard.
But yeah, so plug anything you want. Like if you want to plug your fucking Instagram, your newspaper, just like
Oh, right now.
yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant.
No, not
Edit
plug
this.
mine. Yeah, well, I'll take this out, but
well, yeah, I'll do that.
yeah, we'll plug whatever you want.
So I do have an Instagram that's still active, although I don't.
He's quality over quantity for his posts.
Yes.
I'm
For
quantity
my
over quality.
356 followers,
Hey, that's all right. Everyone counts. So
even the bots.
well-
Yeah. My Instagram's at Criado138.
yeah.
CRIADO 138.
You want to plug your newspaper?
My newspaper. Yeah, I should probably. My newspaper is the Telluride Daily Planet.
Okay.
In Telluride, Colorado.
Where can people find that at?
You could go online, tellyourridenews.com.
Okay, and I'll put all this information in the description below. I appreciate you very much for being on here. This was very fun. Thank you.
This is awesome.
For anyone else that's listening, I appreciate you guys for still following along. Follow me on social media, Instagram at I'll Call You Right Back, Twitter at ICYRB Podcast. Facebook is I'll Call You Right Back Podcast, or you could email me at I'll Call You Right Back at gmail.com and let me know anything that you think I should know, what I could do better, what you dislike, if you fucking hate me, if you think I should kill myself, anything you want.
Rowdy's going to call you.
Yeah, Rowdy's going to call me
You're
and
way
give me
better
a
at
piece.
plugging things than I am.
Well, this is I'm trying to be good for this, but thanks for everyone listening, and I'll call you right back.